Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Cassandra Evans and welcome again to your competency-based Arts and Humanities course, CBE100. I'm really excited to be here with you and I'm excited that you chose this type of course. I'm going to explain a little bit about how competency-based works in general. I'm sure you've already had many orientations into that, but in the context of this course that I've designed, how that will work, and then what we're starting in our first module, and what Arts and Humanities is. What are the things that comprise the Arts and Humanities? So let's get started. Right here on this slide, I have two different depictions of artwork. And think about everything that humans do and artifacts that they leave. Those are materials, objects, little things that they create. Humans have been creating things like tools and artwork and writing and now films and TikToks for years. Technology and medium or media, how they present their messages change. But messages have always been around. So these two images show more ancient Egyptian artwork and more modern painting. One shows maybe some pharaohs riding down a river on a raft. The other one shows the trial of Socrates. Each has stories to tell. What you're going to learn in Arts and Humanities is lots of things. How do we tell stories? How have humans been telling stories or giving messages through different types of thing? Painting, drawing, literature. And where did those come from? Okay? That's kind of it in a nutshell. But the humanities, when people say the humanities or arts and humanities, it can include any number of these things. Art, so performative and visual. Painting, drawing, sculpting, or plays and dance. It can include any study of religions, and there are obviously so many. It can include the philosophy and all types of philosophy from all over the world. Music, different types of music all throughout the ages. It can include poetry, literature, architecture, how we build buildings and other structures, and now, in more modern times, obviously film, and as we see in more postmodern times, social media. And then also people say that the humanities includes the languages, the study of how languages evolved. Other people might include other things like law. So in general, this is kind of like a big broad brush, but I'm going to try to give you an overview from above planet Earth down here to maybe all around you where you might find arts and humanities. And let's think about that. Artifacts by era and areas. By era, I mean the time, the context. We're going to go all the way back to prehistoric times where we think the first artwork or humanities were found, to modern times. You can take more specific classes later on a specific era or area, a particular geographic region of Earth, and what arts and humanities are just there in that place. Say France or Mexico or Central Asia. But for this course, I'm really trying to give you a broad overview. And in this slide, I show you different types of ways that we might think about music. There's a man playing a banjo. There's a piece of paper with notes and a song and a tune written on it. There's a piano keys. There are people with their hands on drums. All of these are artifacts that make music. So we'll think about that as well. Where do we find artifacts or art and humanities? This picture is the globe, planet Earth, everywhere. Everywhere on Earth we've found arts and humanities. And it's thought that the arts started prehistorically, so we'll think about that. This image shows what used to be called Mesopotamia, and it's believed that prehistoric, or before we had any sort of writing, this is where we found the first cave pictures, probably around 2.5 million years ago, and into 3600 before Common Era is considered about prehistoric. That's a huge span of time, but this is before writing was developed. So there's lots going on, but it wasn't recorded in typical writing that we would have now. And then we're going to go all the way, as I said, to modern humanities. What comprises modern humanities? About 1500 Common Era to about 1945, 1950-ish. Now, remember, there are different definitions, and I'll give you lots of those. What is Common Era? What is modern? Depending on which scholars you speak to, there's not always an agreed upon exact set of dates. So that's something to know as well. Depending on who you're studying, where they might come from, they might have different ideas of what is the exact timeline for prehistoric to modern. So just know that some things are very fluid. And we're still finding arts and humanities. We're still finding ancient architecture under other cities, or artwork in buried treasures or at the bottom of the sea or in land masses that were previously inaccessible to us. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'll tell you what we're doing in this first module. This is like a module for the first competency. I'm asking you to think about where you're from and what you'd like to see. This map shows Iraq. This is modern Iraq, but it is the modern area and the modern map for what Mesopotamia used to be. Again, some of the cave art that is considered prehistoric, some of the very first found art might come from this area. But as you go through and you read your first chapter and you're thinking about what arts and humanities are, think about, maybe you're from Central America, maybe you're from Mexico. What area would you like to consider when thinking about prehistoric arts and humanities? What can you find? And I'll have you do more of that soon. In our modules, for each competency, we will have what's called formative and summative assessments. Formative assessments, you're kind of warming up, you're learning all the terminology, you're gathering skills, and you're having discussions with me and other classmates. You might also post a video, you might post a slideshow of things that you've seen. And then later on, when you're ready, you will show your competency by doing a summative assessment, which means you will do a larger paper or a larger presentation. I hope that you have fun, and I'll see you soon.